expanded over the last couple years. So the idea was to just bring a weekly show where we can talk about more of the news that we like, because I'm involved in the industry, Devyn loves the industry, so we like talking about stuff that are more, maybe somewhat more controversial, like the Steam refunds and things that matter more to us than like, well, this game's getting, bad reviews or something. We don't really care like that stuff. We like to talk about like what's fun for us and what's personal. Like this week's show is now going to be focused around Fable because we love Fable, and Lionhead Studios shut down today, and kind of just going with that.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, we just had a passion for games for a long time, so we're a little more interested in kind of the whole community around the whole thing, not so much like the games themselves. Awesome. And there's something else too that we did, because I was talking to you. I mean, there are a lot of unsung like heroes within just devs in general, So that's kind of what we're doing as well, trying to highlight those rock stars like you.
Yay, that's awesome. Yeah, there's not enough people get recognition. It's a bummer. I mean, you look at some of these games like Assassin's Creed, and there's like 1,500 people on that. Like, how do you pick out the people who actually made the difference, made that game great? And it's probably a lot of them who are there making that game great.
Yeah, definitely.
Working in a studio environment now, you definitely see that, because I mean, we've got like 100 people in the building working on SWTOR, and there's like one person who works on just one specific part of SWTOR, make sure it works and things of that nature. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, I like the premise. Very cool.
So yeah, we can go ahead. I've got this recording audio because I think we're gonna turn it into a podcasty show too.
Cool.
So I'm gonna run the audio side. Devyn's gonna run the video side, and we can get started. So.
Yeah, I'm almost done with editing the scene properly because it didn't quite line up.
Okay.
So I'll just let me just resize this one thing, and we're good to go. Cool. All right, sweet. We're good.
All right. Well, this week we're going to be welcoming John Mundy to the show. He's the creative director at Funbits Entertainment, who recently released Fat Princess Adventure for the PS4. Welcome, John.
Welcome, John.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for having me.
Pretty well today. So just got a few questions for you. You've been following your games in the industry for a while now, starting with Fat Princess a few years ago on the PS3. How did you get your start in the industry? Like, where did you get your foot in the door at?
Well, the funny thing is, everyone seems to have a funny story. At least a lot of the older folks do as well. And I think at this point, it's weird to say that I'm one of the older folks, but I do have a funny story. So when I was growing up, we had the county fair. Actually, every year they would do a theme, and this year they did technology, and this was now 20 years ago. And I decided, they listed off in the newspaper all the tech companies in the area, including game companies. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm 15. Let's do this. So I wrote a bunch of letters, and I got some of the little postcards back. Oh, that's cute. Your resume is on file. And actually got a few really nice letters back from some folks at there was Stormfront Studios at the time. It's now gone. Nice handwritten letter. Thanks. Oh my God, you're a little young for us, but. And then one group came back and actually said, when can you come in?
Oh, so that's awesome.
Nice.
That was it. Random story. 15 years old, getting a job interview for working as level designer in games, and that was that. And they hired me, and
that's really cool. That is a more unique story. I've definitely not heard of too many people getting in at 15, especially. That's really awesome.
Yeah, no, I didn't do the game school thing. In fact, game schools didn't even exist, and so just had to find your way in through any means possible, really, which is was hard to do.
Yeah,
what was your
that
first
was something
game?
I was trying to do whenever I got out of high school. I wanted to do something, in that vein, and actually, level design was something that I wanted to go for.
Cool.
It really didn't work out for me in that way, but level design is something that I've always really liked, so that's always really cool.
Very cool.
What was that first game that you worked on while you were there?
Oh yeah, so I worked at it was a company called Ronin Entertainment. They are no longer, unfortunately, but they called themselves Ronin because they were all ex LucasArts guys, and they kind of wanted to be Ronin, like masterless Jedi, masterless samurai. It was kind of fun. So we worked on a game called Neo Hunter, which was a side-scrolling shooter. Oh man, it was a rail shooter. It was fun for my first game, but I look back on it and pretend it doesn't exist because it's kind of bad. Yeah, it was actually the dialogue was written by Orson Scott Card, if you guys know.
Oh, yeah,
Ender's
yeah.
Game.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. It was like, how did they get him to do this game? It's just really bizarre. And in fact, I missed meeting him. He's one of my heroes, but I missed meeting him by just a couple days. They actually had him on site, and it was actually they were out of a house. We built this game out of the CEO and his friend's house before we eventually moved to an office. But yeah, it was just, hey, show up for an interview, and I'm like, am I at the right place? And it's a house, and yeah, sure enough, it was.
That's really cool.
Not bad.
Yeah, look up Neo Hunter. It's pretty bad.
I'm looking at screenshots and stuff of it right now. It looks interesting. It says it came out in 1996. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. I'll have to actually see if I can find a place to play it. Maybe we can play it on the stream.
This isn't right.
Killing me.
Does it look? It looks kind of like a mashup in between like Gunstar Heroes and Metal Slug almost, or not Metal Slug. Golden Axe.
Yeah.
Unless that's
interesting. Yeah.
No, never mind. That's Top Hunter. I'm not even looking the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing. It looks almost like one of those old LucasArts games.
Oh, you know what?
LucasArts with a little bit of anime flair sort of thrown in.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
And
Check it out.
that other one that you were looking at is the side scroll. This one's like John was saying, on rails. Looks like.
It was interesting. I mean, it was a great way to cut my teeth. It was pretty easy. I had to manipulate images and pull them apart, so it was like 2.5D, and I would script all where the enemies went and that sort of thing, and the camera. So it was pretty fun. I got dropped in the deep end for sure.
So then with this shooter foray, I kind of looked into some more of the other stuff that you might have done with Namco. So you worked as you worked on level design for Kill Switch, right?
Yes, correct.
Were you actually the lead on that, or were you just one of the guys?
No, I was just one of the guys. I mean, it was a pretty flat team, though. Like, it wasn't a huge team. And everyone kind of had a say on anything they wanted. Obviously, we all had our specialties. But, no, I was just a level designer. They handed me a section of the game and said, go.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that team was actually a pretty impressive team. It's too bad we didn't get to continue. But we claimed to be the first team that ever did cover. And that kind of spawned a bunch of other interesting games like Gears of War and Modern Warfare. And no surprise that some of the team members on our team went off to actually work on those next. Wow. Yeah. Perhaps Namco passed on something that was too good to be true. I don't know. But,
Namco.
Yeah.
Do you, outside of what you worked on, do you have like a favorite game series that you just like? If a new game were to come out, you always get it, or you just own a lot of memorabilia from it?
I do, and I think it's a bad thing because I think the game has trended in a bad direction as well. But I'm an Assassin's Creed nut.
Hey,
we are
right
too.
with you, man.
Huge fan.
I love it, and it's been a bummer a little bit since I think Black Flag is where it kind of peaked, and then these last two have kind of not. I don't know what's. And it's interesting. They said this last year they're not going to release one in 2016. They're going to take their time and do it right and do a 2-year cycle instead, which I think is good. It's probably what it needs. But definitely. Yeah, I've been around Assassin's Creed since the beginning. I even got a watch this Christmas that I don't have on because it broke. But
yeah, I got something.
Go ahead.
I got a wallet. I got the Black Flag wallet. Like I'm with you on that one. I really liked Black Flag as well.
Yeah, I own like 3 or 4 of the hoodies with the pointed hood. Like I
actually have one of those in my car right now, but I got like overseas measurements, and so it doesn't fit my shoulders. Otherwise, I have one as well.
Yeah, man. Assassin's Creed. Me and Devyn were the only 2 people who had the original Assassin's Creed Collector's Edition pre-ordered at our GameStop. Like,
nice.
We had the little Altair figure and everything. Yeah. I love Assassin's Creed.
That's actually, I have the, like all of the collector's editions set up on the top of my bookshelf right now. Like I just rearranged my room and was like, man, this is a really good place to put them. And they all fit right there. 1, 2, 3 in Black Flag. And I have the flag actually in the corner of my room right now.
Oh, I got the flag up in my office downstairs. Heck yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it's the only series I still go and buy the collector's edition now. I mean, I guess I would say Fallout as well, but I didn't buy the Pip-Boy thing this time around. I just bought the console standalone. But yeah, I always buy like the metal box for whatever and the figures for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I'm a junkie, even though I think, like I said, the series needs a little bit of a, not a reboot, but they nailed Black Flag, and then Unity and Syndicate are just, something's missing for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I completely agree. So
it's
moving
nice
on
to see somebody else, like, especially somebody within the industry, seeing that exact same thing that me and Chaz always see about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's really cool. Moving on to things that you have personally done and some of the bigger things, like when you were starting with Fat Princess and Escape Plan, what were the inspirations there in terms of the gameplay style and things of that nature?
So I'll say I joined the team at Titan right kind of as they were leaving pre-production. So I was not actually, unfortunately, there for that little spark that starts kind of an IP, but I do know the story, which is cool. Basically, they wanted a game called Siege, which is its code name at the time, where it's just little dudes running around and just like capturing crazy princess castle style and cutting each other's heads off. And unfortunately, that didn't make it into the final because of ratings and whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it was just called Siege, and it was all about you control an individual like RTS unit. Everyone controls a unit, and you're sieging a castle. And the funny story goes that, so the princess was the flag. She was always meant to be the flag, and you'd feed her stuff and she'd get fat. For some reason, Siege didn't stick as a name, and so at Sony Santa Monica, they ended up calling it That Fat Princess Game. Oh, That Fat Princess Game. And eventually, Fat Princess became the name.
Awesome.
So actually, funny, inspiration comes from strange places. So the basis of the game came from a couple of guys at Titan, but the actual name just came from some folks at Sony forgetting what the name was, and they called it That Fat Princess Game. Yeah.
That's awesome. What about Escape Plan? Because I know you had a little bit more in terms of the overall on that one. Where did the idea of that one come from?
So Escape Plan was really cool. That started many years ago back at Stormfront. I mentioned that before. They actually sent me a letter when I was doing my, when I was 15, sending out all the letters. I sent Stormfront one. They were in Marin County, California. And so our CEO here, Chris Miller, he actually was working with some folks who were doing concept drawings, almost like they're kind of like Spike and Mike, like twisted animation stuff where, Happy Tree Friends, where everything's getting killed and cut apart and blown up. Well, he did some black and white ones, and they were really like little short animation shorts, and they were always in this room, and it was always this little character and a big character, and whether there were sheep and minions exploding, and eventually we went, wow, this is like a puzzle game. Like each of these rooms are a puzzle that can be put together into a longer narrative, and that's pretty much where that came from. Yeah, concept artists are huge. Sometimes we in the industry tell them, hey, I want to make me a castle and do something crazy. But sometimes they come up with ideas that then you run with. And that's kind of how that one was birthed. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Escape Plan was a lot of fun, but it's a hard game. I mean, puzzle games, I don't know if you guys are puzzle experts. I'll claim to not be. So it was a pretty challenging game for my career, for sure.
There's always some games that usually stop me at some point, like way back on the Super Nintendo for Lemmings was something that always stopped me on there.
Nice.
And then also it's the Blizzard one, Lost Vikings. There we go. That's always another kind of deal that I kind of kind of like Escape Plan. I kind of get kind of the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, our CEO was one of the guys who helped test it, while his brother was one of the ones who was actually creating Lost Vikings. So there's a lot of Blizzard history at this studio here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, love Blizzard too. Love Blizzard. Devyn, did you have another question for John?
I was thinking. Oh yeah, so you've done at least a couple of things in the shooter realm. Do you think that there's like a third-person shooter in the pike for your time at Funbits, or was that be something that you have to go off and do something else with?
Oh man, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, there's a bunch of ideas I've had in my head for a while that I'm trying to get out that are third-person shooter style, kind of like Drake-ish. I guess I could put it that way. So yes, unfortunately, I think those are big endeavors to get right. There's a reason why it takes hundreds and hundreds of people to make them and do them well. And so we're we're realists as well as, creators and imaginary. We make up imaginary things all the time, but yeah, we're realists in the fact that like we know we can't take on something too big. We're still a small studio. I don't know how you want to use the word indie and throw that around, but we're small, we're tiny, it makes us agile, but at the same time it means we can't take on narrative, and narrative things are, man, they're so hard to get right, and they're so hard to get attention. And one of the things we find right now, which is really kind of unfortunate, is you're either really tiny or you're really huge, but that mid game, that like, for us, we talk about dollar amounts, and that would be like $5-10 million amount. Like, those games just aren't selling. They aren't. Yeah. I don't know. People go for the blockbuster, or what's my 99-cent early access on Steam thing, and that's kind of, it's unfortunate. But that means a lot of ideas that we have here that we maybe had for a while, they never make it out, unfortunately.
Well, maybe something you could do is go back to that Neo Hunter thing and do a little bit of like an on-rail shooter type thing, because that could be something kind of low key, and I don't see a whole lot of on-rail shooters anymore, and those are kind of my types of games, like the Time Crisises and
hell yeah,
House
nice.
of the Dead, stuff like that. I've always really been into those. Maybe you can get into something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Fun Bits arcade machine somewhere. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I haven't been to an arcade in a long time, but that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. It's either you're playing a mobile game on your phone that's either costs nothing, or, as Nintendo likes to put it, it's free to start, or you're getting those AAA titles that are coming out every year, and it is hard to hit that middle point, and that's unfortunate for the industry, because it is a dollar thing, and I think gamers would be better if there were more of those mid-range games, but how are you going to support the developers if they're not bringing in the money? So I completely understand.
Yeah. No, I have one example I can give, and I won't name the game or the company, but I know they do lots of almost you'd call budget shovelware kind of stuff, and then they do and that no one's heard of, maybe like 10,000 people have heard of, and then they make this nice bigger game that everyone's heard of, but that one doesn't make the money. It's those smaller bets that make them all the money, and so that's what they go after. And it's just, I wish there was more awareness to players out there of, unfortunately, how the business works, and it's a bummer. I mean, maybe we shouldn't talk about it, because it is kind of a bummer sometimes when it does really come down to dollars and cents, and why some games get killed and crushed. And Lionhead today is an unfortunate example, and we could figure out why that's happening, but it's just a bummer because there's so many great things that came out of that studio.
Yep, certainly.
I completely agree. Jumping off of that question, what are the plans for Fun Bits future, if you can speak on anything like that?
Ooh, I was guessing that question would come. So there's not too much I can talk about, but I will say that we're exploring a lot of new stuff. We're really excited by some of the potential the industry provides, like Steam Early Access, getting a game out there, and really, you guys talk about community. Like, we just love the community. Like, we can't ignore it, and that's, you probably saw some of that with Fat Princess, and how I hung on even though I had left Titan long ago, and just being a part of the community. And when you work with a big company like EA or Sony, they control the message. So we're not on site, we're not owned by Sony, so we couldn't control all the message all the time of what we wanted to talk about, how we want to engage with the community. So looking at things like Steam Early Access and crowdfunding and sorts like that, like Fig, which is Tim Schafer working with some guys to do their own crowdfunding stuff, that excites us. VR stuff is, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to do any VR anything.
No, I haven't yet.
Just a little bit.
It's pretty cool. I think there's a lot happening with VR right now that's just unsung, and we'll hear about it soon enough. I mean, they're all coming out this year, most of the headsets, so we'll get reviews and more people using them. But yeah, we're chasing after a lot of things. So I can't really pin it on one thing in particular.
Right. So you keep mentioning Steam. Is there a chance we might see some releases on PC for you guys?
We would love to. Yeah. I mean, like community. Like we want a bigger community. Sony's always been a great partner, but they obviously, were limited to their platform.
Right.
So yes, we definitely have been exploring things like that, and we're kind of see where it goes.
Cool. I've got one more question. If Devyn has anything else.
Yeah, I got one more question too. Just a fun one, I guess, funish. So I know that Escape Plan was, at least from my perspective, it was like received very well in the United States and Europe. Was it received really well in Japan?
Goodness. I honestly don't remember. Goodness gracious. I mean, I think it was reasonably well received. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's the thing that's been nice about, FunBits and Chris Miller, our CEO, is we make games that have kind of broad appeal, which is again the reason why I mentioned Steam a few times, because you get the broadest appeal going to all platforms.
Yep.
So with Escape Plan, one of the things that happens when a game is being made by a certain team, certain company, is it goes into the Sony machine, and all the different territories get to report back if they're interested, if they want to. We're going to put some money into marketing this. We want to make sure that this makes it to Japan.
Uh-oh. John froze.
Oh no.
No.
You guys cutting out?
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Where did you guys lose me?
If the game's gonna make it to Japan.
Oh yeah, so with Sony, and I'm sure this is the same with other companies, all the territories get to report back whether they are interested in that title. And we've been fortunate enough that every territory has wanted Escape Plan and Fat Princess, and so that's good.
Did you have to do any localization for those, or is that all handled by Sony?
Some of it by them, some of it by us, but it's a lot of work. Localization sucks.
I can imagine. I had my last question, which is a kind of a fun question too. If you could if you could go to Campbell's and have them make, or Chef Boyardee, and have them make any SpaghettiO shape, what would it be?
Skull and Crossbones.
That sounds like a pretty good one.
That would be a pretty good one.
I think that one would work too. Yeah. Excellent. Well, John, I really, really appreciate you taking your time out of your definitely busy day to come and sit down with us and do this interview. Definitely learned a lot, and definitely hope we can have you back on the show at some point in the future and talk about any new endeavors and things of that nature.
Yeah, happy to. I mean, I'm always happy to talk with people, and also, if you guys want, maybe we can always play some games together.
Yeah,
pick them apart, laugh at them, make fun of them, and thank you very much.
That would be fun too. And everybody go pick up Fat Princess Adventures on the PS4 and enjoy some of that as well. So again, thank you very much, John.
Thank you, John.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Have a good one. Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.